Captain Sparkle Fingers.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
Chosen one.
Oh, you're like a bad guy, right?
You literally did the opposite of what a superhero is supposed to do.
You're him. You're the hero.
You're welcome for not getting robbed.
I'm Batman.
Get him back in!
How old are you?
Basically 15.
Dude, did you see that?
Yeah, you electrocuted a bus and almost killed these people.
And then I caught it!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Watch This Podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devin.
And if you couldn't tell, if you can't hear us, you could at least see who we are today. So, and today we're starting off, I guess it's starting off our superhero March Madness on the podcast at least. We've got a bunch of shows planned out for superhero month here on the show. And today is a film that I had never seen until this week. 2019 Shazam, starring Zach Levi. This was Devin's pick for this month. So I'm going to let Devin take it away. And
great.
I'm going to stop talking for a bit.
All right. So my pick was the 1996 movie Shazam, directed by Paul Michael Glasser, starring Shaquille O'Neal.
No, I thought it was Sinbad. He was the wizard.
Oh, it was Sinbad. That's right. I was one of the people that believed that was a movie.
Oh, Mandela Effect.
I know. It's true, though. But for realsies, today's movie is the 2019 movie Shazam, directed by David F. Sandberg, starring Zachary Levi, Mark Strong, Asher Angel, and a few other people that I kind of feel like I recognized in passing. Before I dig into anything in the movie, I just want to talk about how I saw it. This was an airplane movie for me. This is one of those where I had it on my list to watch forever. I'm on, I don't know, Delta or something, scrolling through some movies and went, I don't know, this will stave off boredom for 2 of the 8 hours I have of this flight. And it did its job so well that I was like, okay, people need to watch this. So I actually really liked it when I watched it, but I watched it on a screen maybe that big. So a lot of it was lost on me until this viewing. So, Ryan, have you seen this movie before? And
Yes.
if so, what did you think?
I saw it about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
I was because it was one of those things where it was available on either HBO or Showtime or one of the packages with with Amazon Prime, with HBO, and I was kind of interested in it from the trailer back when it came out, and so was the wife. So we finally decided, we have the afternoon. It was a Sunday. Let's watch it, and it was okay. I mean, it was fun, but we can get into that why I'm saying, it was fun. That's
we'll
my
get
answer.
into it.
That's my
Good,
answer
I'm
to
excited.
that.
All right, Alan, what did you think?
Okay. So the only reason I haven't seen this yet is I don't know why I hadn't seen this yet. I love this movie. This was fantastic.
Oh.
I enjoyed every second of this.
Good.
It was one of the it came out at a weird time. It came out in March, I think, or it came out right before Captain Marvel, and I ended up seeing Captain Marvel twice, in the same day. So it was just one of those ones that I never got around to seeing it in theaters, and it just kind of sat there on my HBO queue for a while. And then by the time I went to watch it for this, it was off of HBO. So it's like,
Oh.
Luckily the library had it. Support your local libraries. And then I watched it on my PlayStation. I think I broke my PlayStation with it, but that's not the point. I really enjoyed this. I thought the performances were fun. I like the concept of Big as a superhero movie. And it had a lot of heart at the core of it. The Billy Batson story has never been one that really drew me in, but this drew me in. And we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I loved it.
Well, that's actually one of the places I wanted to start was how much did you guys know about Shazam going into the movie? Because for me, I knew it was a kid that said Shazam. I knew it was a 90s movie with Sinbad, and that's it.
For me, I've seen him in the DC animated stuff. They had a DC run of movies where it was all connected. And like in that first Justice League War, I think it is, you have Billy Batson meet like the Justice League, and like he's voiced by Sean Astin, which is weird.
Oh, that's cool.
But so I knew him from that. There was a Superman Shazam movie at one point in the 2000s, like animated movie. So I knew him from that stuff. I didn't know him from really anything else. I never watched the 70s TV show. I never read the comic books. I know enough that he was known as Captain Marvel in the comics, and there was this whole copyright battle. Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that. That's really cool.
So, but they couldn't say the word Captain Marvel at all during press. Like, if you watch Zachary Levi do interviews about this, he, like, skirts around that name.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, he accidentally drops it a few times. I think I just like Zachary Levi. Like, I've never watched Chuck, but he might be one of the reasons I like this. So that's what I knew about Shazam.
Yeah. Ryan, did you know anything about him before the movie?
I knew that he used to be called Captain Marvel. And that it was a big type deal, like little kid turns into an adult, and that was really it. I mean, I was kind of like, I was actually educated by the trailer more so than anything else before seeing the movie about who Shazam was, so...
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I learned about the Captain Marvel thing doing research for the show. And that was actually a talking point that I was going to bring up that you guys just completely obliterated because you guys know things that I don't, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wait until Sunday. Like, just wait until Sunday.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. I can't wait. So the one thing I wanted to mention or wanted to bring up was the director. So do either of you know David F. Sandberg at all? Like any of his work? Not personally, obviously.
What if I did know him personally?
I would be so impressed and mad that he's not on our podcast.
We don't know the guy personally. Like,
yeah,
I could have him in my contacts in my phone. How would you know, Devon?
He's under Davey S.
That being said, no, I don't know the guy.
Ryan, do you?
No, absolutely not. In fact,
I know
I'm going
he
through
did
his IMDb right now.
He did more horror stuff before this, right?
Right. Well, that's what I think interested me so much about the movie because, I mean, I watched it obviously first, did some research, and then watched it again. Like, his other movies are Lights Out, which is something I think Ryan mentioned a couple of days ago in one of our previous podcasts. Annabelle Creation, and then this movie are like his big ones. And I think that's really cool. Did you guys notice any kind of like directorial nods or anything that he might have done? Because there were some camera work things in this that I was like, that felt a little unique for the genre.
For me, it felt like a tribute to not only Big, but just superhero films in general. It played with the format a lot, just with things you would expect from a superhero movie. But yeah, I don't know his work well enough to notice anything specific.
It seemed familiar. Like, I've seen parts of Lights Out. That's the one with like the silhouette girl ghost thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so again, I've not been able to watch that movie all the way through yet, and I'm working on it. But anyway, so Lights Out and Annabelle Creation is one of Kristen's favorite movies. So I've seen that a handful of times, and the movie seemed familiar, like the way that it was done, but I couldn't place it. But now that you mention that and I looked it up, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yes, I was getting very big vibes from this film throughout the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the hooks that I liked about it a lot. Where like this doesn't do the typical superhero origin story in a lot of the ways that I think DC heroes do. And like Alan, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I don't know DC very well, but I think I like this as an origin story more than I would have enjoyed seeing Superman's again, or Wonder Woman's again, or Batman's again.
Oh, they never show Batman's origin story. Ever.
It's a mystery.
They did that once, like 20 years ago.
It's always refreshing to have a new origin story where it's not Bruce Wayne's parents die in an alley or the planet Krypton explodes. I think this is part of what was very enjoyable about Wonder Woman. because that in of itself was an origin story. Aquaman, not so much. Aquaman is just kind of already Jason Momoa and badass and stuff. But here you get the origin story. You get the wizard in the cave, like, say my name, put your hand on my staff, which is really weird out of context. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I like a new origin story, and I think origin stories get repeated so much that they get boring after a while. But it's always nice to have a new, refreshing take on one.
Did this one feel recycled to you too, Ryan? Or not recycled?
Not recycled at all. Simply because it's a different superhero. It's a different person. So it's a different, like, it's not like watching Ben get shot again. So I mean, it's and they kind of like, it's its own unique thing. Because when it comes to, like, Superman, his parents are dead. When it comes to Batman, his parents are dead. When it comes to Spider-Man, his parents are dead. But when it comes to this guy, it's like it's a more complicated reasoning for why he doesn't have biological parents involved in his life. I feel like it's more complicated. It's more relatable. So it was actually kind of refreshing, and I love the fact of, like, I love the foster home. I absolutely loved that whole storyline in this movie. That's one of the, like, 2 or 3 things I actually really liked about the film.
They did such a good job, at least in my opinion, of making the foster parents so immediately likable, and then just consistently sincere and likable throughout the entire thing, that I really, really liked it. Like,
yeah, they stayed away from the stereotypical Miss What was the name of the woman in Annie? Miss Harrigan. Hannigan, that's it.
Hannigan, yeah.
Like evil foster parent like Danny DeVito in Matilda. Actually, no, that was her actual father.
See, you guys go to, like, live action characters, and I go straight to Bender from Futurama in the episode where he just adopts a bunch of kids just to get, just to get the checks from the government to, like.
I love that's where that goes, though.
Yeah, to me, like, that's exactly where it goes.
I think before we get into the punchy lightning stuff of this movie, let's talk about the orphan stuff, because that just got me right in the gut. Like, the whole, like, you can tell that everyone's trying to skirt around the issue with him, that his mom didn't want him. And it takes him forever to get to that point where he realizes that. And when he finally does, it just, like, stings, like, right in the heart. And it made me feel so bad. It made me feel so much for this character that I just met. Like, it was very impressive and well done.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I thought that was a more effective scene than disappearing into a tornado.
Yeah.
Papa Kent does that in Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Clearly, you two have never lived in the Midwest, so I'm just going to let that one go. So, I mean, if you don't find that realistic at all, I have probably a few 100,000 people who have experienced
it. Not realistic. I think it's very realistic.
It's very realistic. What the problem is with Jonathan Kent dying in Man of Steel is him telling his son not to save him. Like, that's the issue there. Like, he knows Clark could save him, but there's all those people there who would see him do it.
Yeah. So his dad wanted to make sure that his son could live a normal life that like he wanted him to, unlike the fact that, Clark decided to not live a normal life. So he didn't want his son sacrificing his privacy to have a normal life at the cost of saving him. Me and you have completely different views on that character in that movie. But we're talking about Shazam and not Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably have to get to Man of Steel at some point then, but maybe not. Maybe not in this one.
Yes.
We'll talk about Jonathan Kent on Sunday. How's that?
Okay, that works.
Perfect.
Because there is a Jonathan Kent in that movie. So.
Oh, yes. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the things that grounded this movie so much for me, because it gets silly. It gets silly, the bad guys get silly, the motivations get silly, a lot of that stuff. But I really liked at least each character's like base motivation and base like who they are as people before they become super people. Because spoilers for this movie, almost everyone becomes super people in this movie. If they're a main character and have more than 2 speaking lines, they're going to put on a cape or something before the end of the movie. But I like everyone's character enough that I don't mind that, I think. Did you guys have that too, or did it get to be much?
Ryan, you go ahead. Ryan, hello?
No, there he is.
I'm here. I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry. As soon as Devin asked the question, I saw that my computer started to go a little weird, so I just paused.
Got it.
So when it comes, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It didn't bother me at all. That and Kristen, because we watched it together. Kristen called 2 things that eventually happened in this movie at the first 20 minutes. That the mom disappeared purposely.
Okay.
And that the other kids in the home were going to somehow become super people too.
Wow.
So when it happened, it was just like, oh, cool, you were right. Like,
I had the Shazam family thing spoiled for me because I waited 2 years to see this movie. So I saw the Funko Pops. I heard about it. I even heard what the post-credit scene was to this, and I forgot about it until I watched it.
Wait, which one? Did you watch both of them?
I watched both, yeah.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I enjoyed how they fleshed out all of those characters because there's so many to give time to, and they did a good job of balancing it. I think there's maybe like one kid in there that's like, I don't know you at all, but I know the rest of you, so this is fine.
Was it the guy that wanted to get swole?
Yeah.
That basically didn't talk the whole movie and
Exactly.
then suddenly
Yeah.
did. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
He was the most caricature of all of them.
He was. And that's
he
fine.
was the one I liked the most. I absolutely loved him.
Because he was in the green, right? Like, he was the green hero, so that
He's
Yeah.
the green one.
Yeah, well, okay, so that had nothing to do with it, but I'm just saying, I really liked the fact that he was just like, like he didn't talk, he just like grunted, he's like, leave me alone, and then finally he turns into the super person, and he's actually starting to talk, and he's actually starting to enjoy himself, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about something that people keep telling me that Marvel does bad, but I think DC does worse. I want to talk about the villain. How did you guys feel about the villain?
Okay. This is the,
I like the villain in this.
Do you?
I love the villain in this.
it
makes complete sense.
yeah. They gave him great motivation. I like him. I like the story of the villain. I think Mark Strong as an actor is miscast in the DC films. The fact that he is not playing Lex Luthor is a crime against humanity and should be resolved.
I think the UN needs to get involved in this.
Agreed.
But I have
maybe not the UN, but
I have a theory.
Okay.
And this ties into his father. So DC's establishing their multiverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His father is played by John Glover, who was on Smallville as Lionel Luthor, Lex's father. So maybe in the multiverse, like, family lines got changed, so they're not Luthors, but they're the Luthors. Like, they're just this Earth's version of the Luthors from a different chain of events.
I don't hate that. I really don't hate that.
That's my headcanon. And let me just say this. I met John Glover at the last Comic-Con I went to.
Oh.
Right before the pandemic hit. So there was like... I got to meet Lionel Luthor, Lex Luthor, and Clark Kent from Smallville on the same day. But Jonathan Glover was hysterical. When I got into his line, there was like a group of 3 guys in front of me. And like, when I say guys, I mean like 18, 19-year-olds. And Jonathan Glover spent 20 minutes just talking to them and like making jokes and kind of flirting. It was weird, but it was amazing to watch. And I'm just standing there like with a comic book for him to sign, and my wife is behind me like, "What is taking so long?" I don't know, but this is amazing.
See, that's cool.
When it comes to him though, like as an actor, Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Him and another guy that's in this, the one who plays the wizard. Both of them are actors that just like happen to be in a lot of movies I like. Like he's just like they're one of those actors I see and I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna like this because they're in it and there's so much other stuff that they're in that I like too. And he's one of them because he's in Robin Hood and really like that. And he's also in of course, I passed it. Oh, The Imagination Game, and there's countless others that I can't think up off the top of my head at the moment. But he's also just one of those people that he pops up, and I'm just like, oh, cool, he's in this.
Off the top of my head, he's in Kingsman. He's in Kick-Ass. He's. I don't think he's in. What else is he in? I can't remember anything else, but those are the ones I know him from. But yeah, he's a great character actor. Both of them are. Zero Dark 30, he's in. Those are the big ones, I think.
1917. He was in the World War I movie.
John Carter of Mars. That's the one I was thinking of.
Did you actually watch that movie?
I'm pretty sure I saw that at the drive-ins with you.
I've never seen that movie.
Are you sure?
No. Did I might have hallucinated that movie?
You may have
know. I don't remember.
That movie,
I probably did.
Yeah, he was also Sinestro in Green Lantern. That's the one I was thinking of. So
that makes more sense.
I like that the villains in this are all tied into DC villains because you had Mark Strong playing Sinestro before, and then John Glover playing his dad. And besides Smallville, he was also the scientist who created Bane in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, he was.
I forgot about that. Wow.
The bidding begins. Yeah, that's it.
So I liked him.
And he was the Riddler in the animated series of Batman.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have known that. That's cool. Yeah. See, I liked him a lot, and I liked his motivation. I didn't like the 7 Deadly Sins, like, almost at all.
Yeah, that seemed weird.
I felt like there wasn't enough explanation on that.
I'm sure it's just... So the 7 Deadly Sins a thing outside of Christianity, I guess is what I was wondering.
Maybe, because, I mean, the wizard immediately starts, like, praying to the Greek gods when he's, like, casting his spell. And then I guess they're just a part of it, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like Wonder Woman, 84, like, should have, like, helped me with this. But it didn't help me with this at all.
The just magic aspect of everything?
The magic aspect, or like hey, this is a god and gods just exist here and that's totally fine. Like, I was never comfortable with it. And like, not even from that, but I just think the character designs of the 7 Deadly Sins just like weren't great.
I think my favorite line in this movie is, and don't get me started on lust, I thought they look a lot hotter than they actually are.
Yeah.
So, for a quick search, it is a Christianity thing.
Okay.
It's looking like it's an expanded topic off of other faiths that came before. Okay. But my personal biggest problem with the 7 Deadly Sins was, if they're the 7 Deadly Sins and pride kills you, then you should die in a way that's prideful. If you died from greed, you should have died in a way that was greedy, instead of them just like bashing your skull in.
I mean, that would make sense. That would be more fleshed out version of those villains.
Instead of just being the evil gargoyles.
But then you couldn't have super fight at the end.
He could have still had a super fight against the 7 Deadly Sins.
I think they're the sins personified, so I don't think like it would be cool if it would be a really cool aspect to have the 7 Deadly Sins kill you in those ways. I think at the end of the day, this is a kids movie, so punchy punchy bashy bashy is the best you're gonna get.
Has to be how, yeah.
Because they can't really do much with lust. What are they gonna do? Like, I don't even want to know how lust kills you with those rules.
I can tell you how they did it in 7.
That's immediately what I thought of when you were talking about it too. With 7.
I've never seen 7, so.
No, Alan.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's a classic.
I know.
That's one we're doing before October at some point.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's been on the list for a while. You guys just never did anything with it. So that's not on me. That's on you guys.
That's true.
I'll
take
the last
heat for
time
that
Devon
one.
and I actually looked at a list? It was the last.
Oh, I have lists. Trust me, I have lists.
I know you have lists, but still. I know.
So, I think I was going to harp on the 7 Deadly Sins again because every DC movie I've watched so far has a thing that I just get so in the freaking weeds about. And for me, so for Wonder Woman 84, it was how does the wish thing even work? For this one, it was if the 7 Deadly Sins are the biggest like bad guy in like Shazam history, why are they just like chilling in the main room of their like lair? Shouldn't they be like at least in a side room? Can I
bring up something? With that?
Yeah.
So in the Disney cartoon Hercules, the Titans are just chilling out in a underwater cave.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't they be in like another dimension floating around some other galaxy?
Right, but they're also not like Mount Olympus adjacent. Like they're not like on like the side of Mount Olympus, like next to where everyone's hanging out. They're just like away.
So the way I interpreted this, Devin, was Shazam's powers are so weak that he has to keep them close to keep them contained.
See, that makes sense. Dang it.
That and keeping them in the like throne room of the Shazam clan of the Shazam clan makes sense, especially if they're using their own powers to keep them like as like stone creatures. Yeah. Like it totally makes sense to keep them close.
And you don't have to hire an interior decorator, so
exactly.
Right, they're already
you got these
perfect.
cool looking. Yeah, I mean you're like 3 steps away from having the house from Beetlejuice.
All right, I'm out of the weeds. You guys did it. Thank you.
It's been a while since we've been able to do that. I'm glad.
It's true.
I keep the vote. Stay out of the tall grass. Don't go in the tall grass.
All right, so I want to know, and I've been curious since you talked about it. Ryan, what are your problems with this movie?
So I liked the Foster family. Really liked the Foster family. I liked the dynamic that the superhero kid, what's his name?
Billy?
The main kid, Billy.
Yeah.
I love the dynamic between him and his like foster brother. Him. I got really annoyed at the whole like, what power do you have? And the whole like trying to discover what the powers are. Now, granted, I know that they're kids, so that's how they're going to act. But I was having the same problem with that whole thing. The same way I had a problem with when I first saw the new Spider-Man movies, and Peter Parker's friend was really annoying me. Because they made him like the hyperactive like friend. And it was that whole thing that kind of like got under my skin. And I liked the whole homage to Big, but when they got to the scene with them on like the giant foot-sized like piano board, that's when I was just like, oh, come on, you don't have to throw it this far in our face. So like it was a constant balancing act between really liking what they were doing and rolling my eyes. And so that's why I'm like, it's okay. It's fun, but it's okay.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that because the only thing that would have made me really roll my eyes if like Tom Hanks is there shopping, he just looks over like, what's going on here?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Now, see, that to me would have been hysterical. It's just because I've seen I can only think of 2 other movies at the moment that I have seen that they've done that whole like paying to homage of like dancing on the giant like piano thing, but I know that they've done it in other movies, and it's one of those things where it's like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, come on, can we do like pay homage like in a different way from like a different scene in Big and not that one? Like there's other stuff that they did instead of that, and I feel like that's always the thing that they go to. But I mean, like this is just more of like, I mean, when it comes to DC superhero movies, this is probably one of my most enjoyed. Like one of my most enjoyed or enjoyable, whatever. So I mean, there's that. It's just there was some like the bullies at school. I want to get into this. In this day and age, nobody stepped up to help the kid. They just let two punks in a pickup truck beat him up in front of the school for having a handicap. Like, really? 2018, 2019, that would fly? You wouldn't have, like, 20 kids coming out of the pack to, like, stop it from happening?
That's a good question. I don't know, because, yeah.
I mean, we would, as adults, we would think so, but kids are still kids, and there's probably still some intimidation there. I don't know what bullying is actually like in schools right now, but I'm sure there are instances of kids standing up and defending a kid with a handicap like that, but I'm sure there are other instances where that doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, like, with everything that I've been hearing recently and everything I've been seeing about, like, the new generation coming up, to me that was just like, this doesn't exactly fit the narrative that I've been seeing from actual high school age kids. So there was that, and then the fact that they owned a pickup truck, like, I'm pretty sure the kid's rich or whatever, but I know people who've gone to, like, inner city high schools like that, and he's got to be like he's got to be like the son of the mayor or something to be able to have a pickup truck that big and be able to park it in front of the school like that. Because that's either a no parking zone or it's for, like, teachers and administration.
Well, I think it is a no parking zone. I think it's supposed, like, they point out that it's, like, not parked correctly.
I was so happy when that thing fell from the sky. I have no idea how happy I was when that thing got dropped on its roof.
So
or
they
on
did
its wheels. Either way.
They did do something with those bullies that I really didn't like. Is that it was like a school that was definitely like a lot of, you know, like a kind of a big age range. Like you had like every single like one of the foster kids all going to that same school. There wasn't like this demarcation between elementary, middle, and high school. They were just all there. But the bullies looked like college age kids, if not like full grown adults.
Yes.
Ugh, I get it, but I hate when they do that.
Well, I mean, we're not getting a sequel to this movie for another 2 years, so by the time they make that, all the kids are going to look like they're in their 30s. So
they'll just grow into it.
I mean, seeing the kid who played Freddy, who was in the It movies as Eddie, like, it was weird seeing him older because I'm used to him in It. So
Yeah,
right.
I absolutely loved him in this, and was it his one line? It's in the trailer, but it's still my favorite line, where he makes the joke about, "Oh, don't feel so gloomy for the foster handicap kid." like
you know, and as like not great as this series is, I just love his line when he's like, "Yeah, it gets real Game of Thrones around here."
Yeah,
like I don't know, they give him some of the best lines in this.
They do.
He really does. Oh, he almost steals the movie for me. I really like that he's a collector of superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Because I can relate. But I like that he had a replica Batarang. I like the Superman bullet, all the newspaper clippings. It's nice that they acknowledge that there's a bigger universe going on outside of Philadelphia.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I freaking hate when DC does this, where they're like, these are the the top DC cities, Metropolis, and Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. Like, if you're gonna make up cities, like, just make up cities. Like, don't make it Philadelphia. Make it like New Metro City or something. Like, make it anything. Don't start making up cities and then be like, well, Superman's from Metropolis, but Shazam's from Philly. Like, ugh.
It is weird. Here's my take on it. I think you can have New York be Metropolis and Newark be Gotham and still have Philadelphia be Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is so ingrained in the history of this nation from the beginning that it makes sense to still be there. Plus the cream cheese.
Yeah, well, they made a cream cheese joke, so.
And they made a cheesesteak joke. They planted their flag hard into Geno's.
Did they? I missed that, I think.
Well, the cop's lunch was a Geno steak.
Oh, got
At the
it.
beginning, so
Yeah.
I liked Philadelphia as a setting. I liked that they were able to like make Rocky jokes, and they filmed at the art museum. Like just the two of them sitting on the steps. Like I get why Rocky came up here. It's a nice view. I really enjoyed that aspect when they took out the head of I think it's William Penn on that.
Yeah, it is.
statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that because it was like, oh, hey, you don't get Pennsylvania doesn't get much love in superhero movies. Beyond The Dark Knight Rises, where Pittsburgh stood in for Gotham, but even then it was like mixed together with New York and London.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, no, I don't have a problem with the whole like, Gotham, Metropolis, Philadelphia. Like to me, there's no problem with that because I mean, what do you, like if you really think about it, you would have to have somebody try to make up a name for what, 20 different cities.
Yeah, but they made up a name for 20 different superheroes. Like, I'll come up with a name for... If DC needs help coming up with names for 20 cities, hire me. I'll do it for you.
So it's all or nothing with you.
All or not, really all or nothing. Like, I think that a world where Gotham City is a stand-in for Jersey City or Newark, and Metropolis is a stand-in for New York, I think Philadelphia and Pittsburgh is silly.
Okay, so first off, Gotham was a nickname long before Batman.
Was it really?
yeah, for
Yes.
New York.
For New York. And
I did not know.
And that's why Alan and I had to have a conversation on one of the past podcasts of where Gotham actually was. Because as far as I was concerned, Gotham was New York City. Batman lived in, just outside of the city. He did business in Lower Manhattan. He went to lunch in Queens or whatever. Like, that was my idea of Batman. And then Alan and I had to have a conversation about what canon was and all of that. So you understand, like, Gotham is an actual nickname prior to the comic books.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better about it, but still, I don't know. It just... And you know what? It brings up my larger issue, I think, with DC movies, where, like, if you follow the Marvel movies, basically the world is the world, and then, like, superheroes gradually start introducing themselves in it, and the world that we know starts kind of, like diverging from reality in some pretty believable ways, right? Okay. DC has always... Their world is always, gods are real, gods are always real, gods have always been around. Superheroes are real. Superheroes have always been around. Things are just different from your world and have always been. But they're so similar to your world plus a superhero. That, like, I feel like the world building in DC needs to be different. I feel like the trajectory of history should be different if you literally have an Amazon fighting World War I for you. I feel like the trajectory of history should be different if the 7 deadly sins are real monsters that can come down and attack people. And I feel like for some reason it's not different enough for me, and I don't like that.
I mean, you could always take it that in that reality, mythology is true. Mm-hmm. That's it.
So you have a problem with there being gods in the DC universe, right? Is that what you just said?
I have
there
a problem.
Being repercussions on the real world.
I think not even just the presence of gods, but the fact that the gods are so actively destroying and messing up with civilization and having such a realistic hand in everything that I feel like the trajectory of history should change.
So Marvel has the same thing, though, with Odin and Thor and Norway. Like, in Captain America First Avenger, Red Skull takes the Tesseract from a hiding spot that Odin created. So they've always been there. I think it's the kind of thing where these beings are real, but they become myths. Like they get lost to history. So it doesn't really, they just become stories. And I think that's part of what Wonder Woman is too. Like, yeah, she fought in World War One, but it's just a story. Like, no one's like, your great great uncle comes back from World War One and tells you the story of how this woman like crossed no man's land and just blocked bullets with her wrist. Like, you'd be okay, old man. Like, all right, sure.
Someone special had a senior moment.
Yeah,
right.
And so I think they both have that issue, and I think part of I don't think superheroes are as welcome at the beginning of the DCEU as they are by the time we get to Shazam, because timeline-wise, this is after Justice League. So Superman's alive again. Like, the paper says Superman's back.
Oh, see, I didn't even catch that.
So yeah, like Superman and Batman, like they're known now. Like, they're known entities. The Daily Planet's reporting on them. Superman already destroyed Metropolis and Man of Steel. Batman and Superman fought. Doomsday. Superman died. So superheroes are a known thing at this point. So that's why they have fanboys now, and why people aren't as freaked out by a superhero in Philly.
Yeah, and something else that I'm not going to reference where Alan's going to know exactly where this comes from. Devin, you're not, but it's going to kind of help with like timeline wise. Okay. There is a scene where the Amazonians need help. So they shoot the warning light or a fire light or something. I forget what the name of it is. And to it's like the warning fire. And the one Amazonian says to the other, we haven't done this in 5,000 years. Men aren't going to know what this means. And so the queen looks and says, no, but hopefully she will. And so they shoot it, and it lands in this old abandoned like Greek or Roman ruin of like a temple. And this fire starts up, and the media is all over about how scientists don't know where this fire came from. Nobody can turn it off. It can be seen for miles around. But the key part of that is the one says, we haven't done this in 5,000 years. Men aren't going to know what this means. Meaning that it's been forever since these Greek gods, Roman gods, have been active in humans' existence anyway.
To go for a different example that might drive this point home, in The Dark Knight Rises, the kids in that orphanage don't believe in Batman. They weren't around for him. They don't know that he was real. They just think he's a story. But Robin knows that he's real. Like, he was there for it. Like, he knows. So I think even within 10 years, like the facts can become stories, can become myths, and like it seemed these stories are so grand and so like superheroes are a mythology today. So it would make sense that like in Batman Beyond, kids wouldn't believe that Batman was an actual guy, and that the Joker was his villain. Like, it would make sense that people wouldn't buy that. Like 3,000 years in the future, people aren't gonna believe that Spider-Man was a guy who swung around New York City. Like it's all mythology, and I think living in the midst of mythology is interesting and really complex. Like, you're living in the moment, so it seems like, oh yeah, this is going to be like the world should make sense this way, but it doesn't, because we're so far separated from the old mythology that doesn't seem real.
And the thing is, that definitely makes sense to me. I think I just like the way that Marvel does that interconnected world thing better for some reason, and I literally got as far as that argument of like, I think the world should be different, and then patted myself on the back, saved it for later, and went my merry way. And I didn't think I didn't dig into it this deep. But here's what I'm comparing it to.
Yeah.
Is there's this scene in Spider-Man Far From Home where they get on the airplane, and there are documentaries about the Snap, about Thanos, about Iron Man. You get those like real life moments of look at what happened in the world. and here's how regular people experience these outside grand things that they just can't be a part of. And I feel like that seems more realistic to me than a few kids having the Superman merch in the movie, like in this movie. For some reason, like that feels more impactful of a world than like the Batman action figure that he throws at the bad guy.
Okay, so the way that I took the whole like merch thing with like the kid was that for the merch to exist and for the kid to even be wearing a Aquaman t-shirt, like you would need that going on as a thing. Like you don't have fanboys like that kid if you didn't have documentaries or comic books made from these people that actually do exist in that world. So to me, they go together. You can't have one without the other. The smoke is what the kid owns, and that smoke came from the fire that he saw on TV, either live or by documentary about, Superman and his home planet. Superman sits down at 10 p.m. tonight to talk to our reporter about life on Krypton before it blew up or something like that.
I think part of the reason Marvel and DC seem so different with this is Marvel does a good job of keeping their worlds connected. Whereas Shazam, like they'll name drop Batman and Superman, but you don't see them.
Right.
Well,
kinda.
Let's talk about that because
we should.
They couldn't get Henry Cavill, so they just put some guy in the suit. They wanted Henry Cavill and they didn't get him.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, there was a whole contract thing.
That's a shame.
So, Superman shows up, but you don't see Shazam interact with him at all. Like they are buddy in the comics and in the animated animated movies. So, like Superman's his mentor, kind of like teaching him the ropes of things. But they don't interact. But in like Civil War, like a Captain America movie, you have Iron Man there. You have Black Widow in Winter Soldier, or you have Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. Like they're actually connected. But DC has been such a mess with recasting and like multiverse stuff. Like they don't know who's going to be under contract anymore. So if we're gonna put Batman in this, do we put Ben Affleck? Do we put Robert Pattinson? Do we bring back George Clooney? Like, what do we do? So,
and I mean that's a good point, and I bet you that's why it feels so weird for me. Is I think Marvel just has more continuity for me. So like when in Ant-Man, he talks about Stark. I'm like, oh, I saw him in that movie once. I know that Stark. Like that's cool for me. Where like here they can really only like name drop like Batman, Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman and just in the most generic sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So I have, I think, one last big question and then like a silly one. So a big question that I have for you guys is I was reading a review on Roger Ebert's side of this movie just to kind of get a sense of what the critical reception was at the time, because I liked the movie a lot. And one of the things that they said that I thought was so weird was they just went, yeah, and here comes another superhero with another generic set of superhero powers that I had to sit through watching him discover. And like, guy was a straight up cynic. Ew.
Yeah.
But like, what is an interesting set of superhero powers for you? Like, I had no problem. Like, I've seen Superman. I have no problem with, two superheroes who can fly and wear capes. I have no problem with like lightning fingers. Like, or bullet immunity. Like, I don't care that those are shared superpowers. And I still thought he was interesting. And I was wondering, like, did you guys feel the same way as the critic? Or like, are you guys like, shut up, you're just being cynical?
I had no problem with his powers. That guy just sounds like he is miserable in life. So.
He's just sad he doesn't have his own.
Yeah, I mean, superhero, like, there are only so many super things that you can do, and I think because his character dates back to the early days of comic books, he's going to have the same set of powers as Superman, because they're very similar characters with different origins, but, like, there's nothing wrong with being leaping buildings in a single bound, or being super fast, super strong, and flying, like... I don't have a problem with it. Like, I think that if you're going to be a superhero, those are kind of the staples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's being too cynical. It's also one of those things where I wonder what his preferred type of movie is, because he kind of sounds like you if you weren't into superheroes, Devin. It's kind of,
Telling it like it is.
I'm just saying. I mean, at the same time though, like, I'm fine with Shazam having pretty similar powers to Superman simply because, like, he's a wizard. And it pretty, like, the indestructible human. Like, that's what Superman is. Like, what does everybody want to be? Strong. Okay, let's give them super strength. People wish they could fly. Okay, let's make them fly. I don't want to die by means that other people die of. Okay, so if somebody tries to stab you or shoot you, it's not going to do anything. So, like, that really doesn't bother me with, like, this, because he's, like, a wizard, like, person. It's just, I feel like, more or less, the MCU has done a better job at bringing up... The MCU has done a better job at diversifying its heroes when it comes to powers and putting them on teams. So, like, you have, let's say, 4 people. Each person has a different core ability, but they might share, like, a handful of, like, lesser abilities. Marvel's done a better job at that. When it comes to DC, a lot of this stuff is standalone films, except for, like, the Justice League one. So, yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Superman, like, they're all going to have to kind of share the same stuff to be able to do the things that they do. So that just makes sense. I mean, even with, like, Green Lantern, like, granted, that's a little bit more flashy, but he's still the same thing.
Long story short, they can't all just talk to fish.
Or
which
be
is
rich.
Which is my favorite segue into the last question I had. Did you guys watch the end credit scenes, and what did you think? / do you want me to explain one or both of them? Because I had to look it up.
Well, there's a Superman at the cafeteria, right?
Yes.
Yes, which I don't know if I counted as an end credit scene. Is more like a stinger.
And then
I
there's
did.
Mark Strong in the prison.
Which I had to look up.
Is there another one?
There's one more after that.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
There was one more after that actually was in the trailer of the in almost its entirety is in the trailer for the Chinese version of this movie, and it's a cut scene of him discovering his superpowers, and in one scene he's literally talking to a goldfish, and he goes, "This is stupid. What a stupid power. What am I going to do with this?" And then his friend, who's wearing an Aquaman shirt, goes, "Yeah, an army of fish." And then he goes, "Oh, okay, I guess that is pretty cool." And, like, that's like the final end credit one.
I'll have to go check that one out.
It's fun.
Yeah. I only knew about the talking caterpillar, so...
Yeah, I looked that one up. I'm like, what is this? Stop it.
I remember...
Brainiac, right?
Close. It's called, what is his name? Dr. Mind?
Yeah.
I thought it was Brainiac.
No.
Brainiac is a...
Marvel?
Brainiac, yeah, it's a Marvel one.
No, it's
Okay.
not. Brainiac is DC. He's a Superman villain.
Brainiac's a Superman villain? What does Brainiac look like?
Green with 3 circles on his forehead in a triangle.
Oh, you know what? I get him and MODOK mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both machines only designed for killing, so pretty much.
That makes sense.
They're both machines.
Yeah. So is this sequel, do you guys know about the sequel? Is it going to feature this caterpillar guy?
I think so. I think that's
Really?
the plan. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how he's a villain.
I mean, I think he just works with Dr. whatever his name is. Dr. Mark Strong.
Robotnik. Got it.
Robotnik. Got it.
God.
Doctor Who? Like.
Oh.
Okay, so I want to know, who is your favorite foster home superhero?
Ooh.
I like the little girl. She was having so much fun getting powers, like just and like being like if my niece had superpowers, that's what she would be like.
Just like so delighted.
Yeah, she would be like having a blast and like just having fun. Like I could see that.
If like she could turn into like a 20-year-old woman with like superpowers, but still be who she is and still be. Mine would have to be the video game kid. I love the way that he took on that, that character took on that role of being a superhero.
Just like that he did a Hadouken halfway through.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was as soon
that
as
was
he
fun.
did as soon as he did that, I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what I'd be doing. But I wouldn't be saying Hadouken. I'd be doing the Dragon Ball Z one.
Yeah, I think
but
my
not
favorite.
Goku, Vegeta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think my favorite one was his friend, the one that was like filming him the whole time. Because I mean, he was right. Like the whole movie when I first watched it, I was just mad that Billy was the one with the powers and not the other kid. Because like if I'm a wizard and am dying and have literally these two kids as my choice, I'm gonna pick the other one. Like I'm not gonna pick Billy Batson, who's kind of a jerk up until most of the movie, and then I was gonna pick the other guy, like the one that actually seemed like he had a pure heart the whole time. So I was happy he had his ending.
Yeah. I did have some notes.
Go for it.
So I talked a little bit about how this film plays with like the superhero genre a bit. Mm-hmm. Like there's a moment in the final fight at the fair where Shazam like winds up and goes to punch one of the monsters, and you get this big heroic fanfare, and then the monster just turns to smoke and it goes to slow motion. Yeah. I laughed so hard at that. I was like, that's perfect. And the other thing that it played with was the villain monologuing midair blocks away from the superhero. It was like, you giving an evil guy a speech, like, I can't hear you. Like, what's going on? I really enjoyed those moments. That's all I had. I just want to bring those up.
I mean, I think anytime any movie pokes fun of the genre that it currently is, I'm on board.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason I saw that Rebel Wilson movie. I think, isn't it Romantic? I think it's called. That's the whole reason I even saw that movie. So I was like, a movie that pokes fun of genre movies, I'm on board.
Okay, so the whole thing with the monologue thing, you guys are gonna laugh, and I finally watched Age of Ultron this morning.
Oh, really?
No!
Yes, I did. I didn't finish it. I got like more than more than halfway, maybe like 20 minutes left on it, but I had to stop watching and take care of something, so I got at the end of it. But you said about the whole monologuing thing, that because I just saw it this morning, when Ultron's in the stranded oil tanker and he makes the comment of, "Oh, you want to hear my evil plan?" and then he just starts like beating the crap out of people because because he's not going to do it. So like stuff like that I really like. Yeah. I mean, that scene where he's like explaining things and Shazam's like, "Huh? What? I can't hear you."
Yeah, I just really love those scenes.
So the other thing that this movie didn't do that kind of bugs me, just because of the mythos that I know of Shazam, is one of his main bad guys is Black Adam, and they hinted at him in that origin story that the hologram the wizard showed him. But Black Adam's his main adversary. He's not in this movie. He will not be in the sequel. He's getting his own movie. Do you guys know who's playing Black Adam?
No.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
I want it. Yes.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to take place during the golden age of superheroes, so we're going to get the Justice Society of America.
Weird.
I'm guessing that they're going to do a sequel to Black Adam and Shazam together and bring those two characters in. But I can see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just kicking Zachary Levi's ass.
Yeah,
that's not a fair fight.
No.
Whenever somebody from my high school does, especially him, like I'm all for anything The Rock does, simply because we're from the same high school. So I'm
cool.
happy with that.
On that note, have you watched Young Rock?
I have not yet, but I really want to. I mean, they do a scene of him like at Freedom High School as a kid, but I don't believe they filmed at Freedom High School.
I doubt they did.
For it, but they definitely got the colors
Devin looks
right, so I'm happy
confused.
about that.
Yo, what is Young Rock?
Over here in America, there is a sitcom about Young Rock.
Yeah, about him growing up.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
It airs right after Kenan on NBC.
Wait,
Kenan Thompson has his own sitcom.
How long have I been gone?
Long enough for Kenan to have kids on a sitcom.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I remember when it was just Kenan and Kel was drinking orange juice and
Right?
here it goes.
Yeah.
I missed that.
But yeah, I can't tell you how many people that I graduated high school with on the night that the episode aired, where they did the whole like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and they had him at like Freedom High School. Like half the people I graduated high school with on Instagram and Facebook were like taking pictures of their TVs, going, "It's Freedom High School," and like my entire news feed was just pictures of people's TVs on the one scene.
That's cool though.
Devin, was there anyone famous who went to our high school?
Randall Shugart, I think, is the biggest name we have.
I think so.
So if you've ever seen the movie Black Hawk Down, which is based on real events, obviously, he was the Marine that went down with the Black Hawk that went down, and I guess defended it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a really heroic thing, and he was from Big Spring, and they named a post office out of him.
Out for him.
Did I miss the talk about everyone's favorite Sinbad movie? No, we're just getting to that now. For me, it's Good Burger. I like his performance in Good Burger. He has a small role, but he's the neighbor. He's the one that Kenan takes out his mailbox.
Yeah, but that's your favorite one? We live in a world where Jingle All the Way exists, and that's your favorite one?
I was leaving that for you, Devin.
I appreciate it. Ryan?
I'm sorry, I was looking something up. Sorry.
Favorite Sinbad movie?
Oh, favorites? Oh my god. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Side note, for the commenter Equus Firth, I just realized what that was literally last night. That's a movie reference, and I am so upset I didn't catch that before.
Please explain, because this is my third stream out of 4 this week. I'm a little fried.
Oh, there's a movie called Equus, and I have never seen it. And I believe one of the people or one of the characters in it is Paul Firth, is one of the characters. So I think that's the name, unless like I'm over here just like putting like 2 and 2 and 2 together.
So I think we had fun with that question, but Devin, did you really think that Shazam was a Sinbad movie from the 90s?
Yeah, really though. Like, I mean, obviously prior to this movie, I really am. I'm also hardcore on the Berenstain Bears, because they're Berenstein, I think.
Berenstein Bears.
Berenstein Bear. No, but there's a way that is wrong, and I'm on that train.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
It's a kid's book.
Yeah.
It's a kid's book. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I'm one of those people that like freaks out about that.
Okay, so my favorite 2 Sinbad movies that he's in: Good Burger and Coneheads.
Coneheads.
Apparently he's in Coneheads.
He is.
What a good movie.
Who
Who
doesn't like Colin Firth? We talked about that when our wives were on with.
Yeah, we did. Colin Firth is my new favorite.
We talked about. What was the movie? Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is good in that.
So, do we want to talk about the Mandela Effect for a minute? Like,
let's go ahead and do that.
I really do want to talk about the Mandela Effect because I love this.
So, the Mandela Effect, for people who don't know, is people thought that Nelson Mandela died in prison, but then he was still alive years later. So, this phenomenon became known as the Mandela Effect. So, a large group of people believe one thing, like Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam where he played a genie, but that never happened. At least there's no proof of it. There's a lot of like alternate realities, like when Like, I think the main theory is, like, when they turned on the particle accelerator, we went into a parallel reality.
That's funny.
There's a lot of fun little things that are just, like, people think were the case that just aren't. Like, for example, I've got the first one up here. Curious George, does he have a tail or not?
I don't remember.
Yes, right? Yeah, he should have a tail.
I don't know. It didn't actually give me the answer. All right, so we'll get to it. Jif peanut butter or Jiffy peanut butter?
Jif.
Jiffy?
It's Jif.
It's Jif? Yeah, Louis Anderson was another one of those.
See, I never thought he died.
I thought he did.
No, I just remember he stopped hosting Family Feud. I didn't think he died, though, because then he showed up on that Zach Galifianakis show, Baskets.
I forgot he was on Baskets.
Yeah.
I think I just assumed he died.
All right. Devin, how do you spell the Toon in Looney Tunes?
Toon.
Ryan?
I 2 O's, 3 O's.
No, Tunes. Tunes as in music.
That's not true.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Not in my world.
So the Bernstein Bears, which we were talking about,
Yeah.
is AIN, not
Bernstein.
EIN. Yeah, Bernstein Bears.
And I know them as Bears, and like I loved them growing up.
Bernstein
Like,
Bears. Bernstein
Yeah.
Bears. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care.
All right. Curious George never had a tail.
See, that's the thing. I like this a lot. Like I like the example because like I feel like I've seen pictures of him hanging from like a thing from his tail.
Okay, so where's the line between what's a true Mandela effect, like Shazam with Sinbad, and remembering if Curious George had a tail or not? Where does the line go from here's something weird that you may or may not remember
I
to
think,
hey, you're believing something that did not exist?
so I think part of it is a lot of these examples are things people grew up with. Like even Louis Anderson, like if you grew up with him hosting Family Feud, like that's ingrained in you. Like, and he stopped,
Yeah.
so he must have died. Curious George thing, if you read all of those books and you remember him hanging from a tree from his tail, then that's what you remember. But if he never had a tail, how was he hanging from that tree?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books. There were a lot of books that were animated by the same person as those books, who drew monkeys with tails, and that's where that stuff came from. That's where that stuff.
All right, I'm trying to think some more.
Well, here's some of them that I don't like is when people are like proof of Mandela effect. Does Darth Vader say, "Luke, I'm your father"? And then everyone's like, "Yeah, he does," and it's like, "No, he does." Like, that stuff I don't love. Like if it's like the little nuancy or like, did you know they never say hello, Clarice in Silence of the Lambs? Mandela effect. It's like, no, it's a misquote.
It's a misquote, yeah.
Yeah.
Equus Firth, I was once at a dinner with a group of people that insisted Castaway ends with him finding a golf ball and realizing he's on an island with a resort.
What?
Six people that convinced each other of it. I feel like that's a parody of Castaway.
Is there a parody of Castaway?
I would have no idea. I never.
He
even
says
looked into it.
frantically Googling.
I don't know, but
Devin frantically Google away.
I kind of like that a little bit better than the ending of Castaway.
No, you
I
don't.
No, I do not like that. I like the ending that Castaway had. It was perfect.
Okay, how do you spell the fruit in Fruit Loops?
Stop asking the dyslexic kid how to spell. Damn it.
Fruit. It's fruit.
No, it's
If it's two
O's. It's
two O's.
Because of the
I hate it.
cereal.
It's cute, but I hate it.
Okay, Monopoly Man. Monocle
Yes.
or no monocle?
Monocle.
No.
No,
No,
monocle.
no.
You know why you think there's a monocle?
Because of Jim Carrey in
Because it's
Ace Ventura 2.
You must be the Monopoly guy. Do not pass go. Do not collect $300.
I love that movie so much. That is my reference for Monopoly Guy forever.
It sounds like a Simpsons or American Dad version of Family.
But it does.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that might have
definitely
been a Simpsons joke in like a Treehouse of Horror.
And it might be why you like it better than the actual ending that happened, because you're remembering that it was a Simpsons thing.
Okay, Ryan, I'm not going to give you a spelling one, but Pikachu's tail, what color's the tip?
Oh my god, his tail is striped. I know that. It's yellow. Oh, a cat's walking in.
Yeah, yellow.
Yeah, a lot of people think that there was a black detail on the end of his tail.
Oh.
Which makes sense, because his tail is striped a little bit, so I could totally understand that.
That one's boring.
Oh, what's the boring one?
Some of them are boring.
There's no hyphen in between Kit Kat.
Oh, I don't care about that.
I wouldn't have
Yeah,
that.
you're the one who made me
that
go
is
back.
boring.
Okay. Is there a cornucopia behind the Fruit of the Loom logo?
Cornucopia?
Yes.
Behind
yes, there
the
is.
Fruit of the Loom logo.
Yeah, no, there is.
Oh my god, what's a
'Cause
cornucopia?
It's those the spiral like horn looking things that are made out of wood that you see like around Thanksgiving sometimes.
Behind the what logo? Fruit of the Loom?
For like the underwear. It's on the like they have the logo like on the stretchy
I know what
part.
you're talking about now. I've never I just know there's fruit behind it. That's it. They could be in a giant horn for all I know.
I think they are.
Which,
yeah. Alan? Is there a cornucopia behind?
There's no cornucopia.
It's bullshit. I don't believe it.
like, yeah, like it's just fruit. Like,
Okay, this one is dumb. Like people thought that 3PO was all gold, but he has his right leg is silver. Like his shin down is silver. Like that's a thing.
I don't remember that. I genuinely don't remember that.
I mean, they don't focus on his leg that much, so you
Wait.
probably wouldn't recognize him with a gold leg.
I know. I probably wouldn't. So hold on,
there's
chat
New
said-
Zealand, guys.
Yeah.
There's New Zealand.
No, hold on. I don't understand that.
People
Is
just
it-
thought he was all gold. He has like a silver-plated leg.
Oh no, the New Zealand thing. Echoes Firth just said, but where's New Zealand?
It's on the it's off the southeastern side of the island, if I believe, right? It's like if you look at the map, it's on like the southeast side of Australia.
You see, I am so bad with geography, and Romana makes fun of me for it almost constantly. It's embarrassing. So I couldn't have
You
pointed
better
that out.
learn it now. You're in Europe where it matters.
It really does, though.
Especially with the
wondering-
whole Brexit thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the New Zealand thing is coming into the conspiracy theory that New Zealand doesn't exist.
Probably. I didn't know
wonder
that
if
was
that's playing into
conspiracy
that.
theory. Is it like funny like birds?
No, well, they're like, it's in the same category as like the Netherlands don't exist or Norway doesn't exist for some reason. Like it's land that's used by like the UN to like test like equipment, and so people are paid to say that they are like from there or lived there, so that people don't like catch on to the fact that they're like testing alien tech in these like giant swaths of land.
Got it. Oh, they don't know that it's on the north, south, or east side. I would have said north, but I also would have taken everything I said with like the biggest grain of salt because I don't.
yeah.
I'm not.
I could
geography
definitely
guy.
see where was it people would think that it's on the north side. I
Mm-hmm.
really do, because you've got the Australian coral reef that I mean pretty soon is going to be completely bone white.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely see where people would get those two things flipped, especially Americans. Especially. I do know that there's also like a thought experiment.
Is it
about
the
like,
ship of Thesaurus?
No. Funny. I know that there's a thought experiment about, like people being shown like a picture like a fake picture of them like as a kid doing something that was photoshopped that they clearly didn't do, but because they see the picture, people will unintentionally create an entire like scenario around the picture to prove that it's real.
Oh yeah, memory's super unreliable. Like,
and I feel like this plays into that.
Oh, it has to.
All right.
Because like I don't. Yeah.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about Shazam?
Oh, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Mandela effects.
How about his outfit? I'm not really a fan.
Okay.
Of Shazam's outfit.
He got a lot of flack when behind the scenes photos came out before the movie even came out about like padding and stuff.
Sure.
I don't think it's a lot of padding. I think it's just the design of the suit that makes it look that way. He's pretty jacked in this. I don't think it's padding at all. I like the suit.
Okay. Was my thing, I guess, I don't like the cape. I don't like the tiny little cape.
It's like it's like a two-layered cape. It's interesting.
No capes, darling.
I think my biggest problem with it, of any of the suits, was when they turned into like the rest of the foster kids turned into it. One of them had like a super skirt on, and I'm like, you don't need to give her a super skirt. Just give her super pants like the rest of them.
Maybe she wants a super skirt. You ever think of that?
No, I didn't. I figured they didn't have agency over what their superpower looked like.
Yeah. It was whoever the wizard was before them. So.
Right.
There's also that.
Yeah, maybe they were super into super skirt.
I don't know. I just with how like you've got Superman's suit, you've got Wonder Woman's outfit, you've got Batman's outfit, you've got Ocean Man's outfit, Aquaman. There we go.
You were so close. You were so close.
I thought you were going to say Ocean Spray. I was like, wait, what?
And you've got all these different outfits, and some of them, like when you get down to like to them, they're detailed, like they're textured, and they've got like yeah, of course Superman's outfit's really plain, but when you look at like the outfit they have for this new Superman, it's really detailed. There's a lot of texture to it, and there's a lot of like tone shifts within the colors itself. In this one, it's really like, I feel like it was like printed almost. Like the red is red, and there's like one texture pattern across the whole suit in the red. And it's just really like more plain looking than every other DC DC's outfit, and that's what I'm mainly talking about. I couldn't care less about padding.
It's very accurate to his comic book suit.
Okay.
So I enjoy it for that reason. So.
Okay. Are we
cool,
sure the suit is not just his body? Because there is. Because there's a big like plot point where he can't pee in the suit. And, like, I don't know if the suit even is a suit for him.
Oh, you're talking about in the movie?
Yeah.
That would make me very uncomfortable.
It always did. Like, every time he's like, how do I pee in it? And they never, like, said it, like, how do I take the suit off? It was, how do I pee in it? And my mind immediately jumps to, like, the anatomy part of it and went, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I looked at that as a joke about superhero suits in general. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Like whenever they cast a new Batman, the new one always says, "Yeah, I asked." Like Robert Pattinson will say, "I asked Ben Affleck, like for any advice he would have for the characters. Like, make sure you can pee in the suit. Like that's the first piece of advice they get. Like, you think they would have figured that out with Keaton, but they really haven't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's just a joke about that. That's all I
got
got
it.
I mean, the whole concept of like that turning into his body, and then I mean, technically he's naked then, and that just makes me uncomfortable.
It makes it worse. He's the Ken doll.
In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, there's a character called Odo, and like he's clothed, and then like halfway through the show, they kind of tell you that like, yeah, no, he's a blob that can transform in any shape he wants. So the clothes he's wearing is just part of his blob outline. It's not really. He's never wearing clothes. He's just his skin gives the appearance of looking like clothes because he can do that. And it's one of those things where it's like the same thing. It's like, oh my god, I really don't want this like 15-year-old kid to be turning into an adult completely naked in a red suit, and that's just his skin.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is I took a joke that they made to be funny and took it way too far and tried to look at the actual biological implications of a funny throwaway joke.
Devin, don't go into the weeds.
On this show, we call that pulling a Devin.
Yeah, really. Mm-hmm. We're so weird. It never happens.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on Shazam before we wrap this thing up?
I think that's all I got.
Now,
I'm good.
Devin, Shazam is in our bracket for today. How is it faring against everything else?
So right now, Shazam is in a really tough spot because Shazam is actually up against The Dark Knight, which is heartbreaking. And it is not winning.
Yeah, Shazam is at least doing better than Superman Returns is doing against Aquaman. So,
You know what? I don't think that's the case. I shared it. So I shared it on my story. In my story, Dark Knight has 98%. Shazam has 11%. Aquaman has 77%. Superman Returns has 23%. So Superman Returns has a pretty relatively strong standing in mine.
yeah. And you're looking at the total votes at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Just total across everything. So I'm looking at Instagram, Facebook, and I'm looking at the polls that we send out.
Awesome. All right.
I do have results from yesterday's. I'm going to bring those up quick because I'm so pumped about them.
Let's go over the Marvel results on the DC show. Let's do it.
So the Marvel results on the DC show are between Avengers and X-Men First Class, Avengers won. Between Black Panther and X-Men 2000, Black Panther won. I even got a couple people sending me the message Wakanda Forever. And then between Iron Man and Thor Ragnarok won.
Nice.
So
we're gonna have more results on our Sunday show. We'll wrap up the week and tell you who's going up against in the next bracket, the next round, I should say. So tune in Sunday when we talk about that, and we have Devin watch Superman the movie for the first time.
Can't wait.
This is, if you thought this conversation was interesting, he's gonna have a lot to say about Superman.
Really?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Am I gonna get in the weeds?
You might.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Just remember, there's raptors in the tall grass.
Oh no.
Those clever girls. But before Sunday, we have some other things going on. Tomorrow night, over on Nerve Herders Assemble's Facebook page, you can watch along with me and the guys over there as we watch Man of Steel. We're going to be doing a live watch along with Josh and Seth over at Nerf Herders Assemble. So you can, I'm going to post their Facebook page in the chat right now.
Will it be hosted on our stream as well?
It will not be. It'll just
Okay,
be
so you
on
have to go
their
to them.
Facebook page. I'll share the link
Great.
to our page so people can check it out there. It did not let me share that link. Oh well. But yeah, Nerf Herders Assemble tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central Time, which I think is where those guys are based out of. We'll be watching Man of Steel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Friday on this channel, Devin and I will be playing. Are we doing Avengers? Is that what we decided on?
Yeah, we should do Avengers.
We're doing Avengers
Yes.
because it's superhero related and multiplayer. So,
It'll be
and
great.
I can sit in my recliner and play that. So,
I love that.
so we'll figure out the details on that. But check in Friday evening for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday we have Superman the movie. Here, same thing as this.
Mm-hmm.
And then next week we get into Justice League.
Oh man,
I also watched that this morning.
you had the morning, Alan or Ryan. You had quite the
decided-
morning.
I decided to shoot myself in the foot and get it over with.
Are you gonna wrap up your evening by watching Steel and Green Lantern?
No. I've got my video games that I'm going to be playing that I always do.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
They're
All right.
redoing the season, so I'm
Nice.
all for that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that does it for You Have to Watch This podcast tonight. You Have to Watch This podcast is recorded in front of a live Twitch audience and Facebook audience.
Oh yeah.
So you can follow us on Facebook. like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. You can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all major podcasting platforms. And you can watch us live, weekly, or multiple times during the week on our Twitch channel. You have to watch this pod. Until Sunday. Until next time for Superman the Movie, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devin.
And Shazam!
You said it right.
You guys, give me your best Shazam to like turn into Shazam.
I can't right now. I'll wake people up. That's not gonna.
Listen, Ryan.
Okay.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Shazam!
I'm not
doing it.
yelling
I'm all
like
in.
that.
I'm
He
all
even
in.
went emo with that. Like
I went emo.
Peter Parker,
I transformed in the middle of it. I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Okay, Ryan, you can do it.
Yeah,
quiet,
exactly.
Do it quietly.
Do it quiet.
Just give us like the facial expressions. Come on.
Fine. Shazam. That's the emo way of doing it,
clap.
Devin. That's the emo
That
way.
was the NPR Fraser Crane way of doing it.
Shazam.
I'm listening. All right. All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.